Welcome to Ears Radio. This is Amber Sea with Taff Simmons, singer-songwriter. How are you today, Taff?
I'm well, Amber. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for everybody for listening in.
Oh, we're honored to have you. I'm so excited to introduce people that haven't heard your music to your music, and then to do this for the fans that you already have out there.
Well, I sure appreciate it.
Yeah, well, tell me a little bit about how you got started in music.
You know, honestly, I don't ever remember it not being a part of my life. My dad was an incredible singer-songwriter, and I cut my teeth on it early on, and I didn't know that everybody couldn't sing and write a song until I was probably in my 20s. I just thought it was something they chose not to do, but I didn't really understand that for a long time.
Yeah. And I know that your dad was a big influence on you. You've told me that before when we've spoken.
And still is. Today he's passed. He died tragically here 2-3 years ago, and but still has an impact on my music.
Right. And boy, do you have some good music, and you are all over the charts these days.
Well, thank you.
You've got, let's see, the album you have out right now is an Outlaw Handbook. That's correct, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm working on currently.
Okay.
I'm in and out of the studio as I can't quit my day job yet. I'm working. It's expensive to make an album, and so I'm in and out of the studio as finances allow. I don't have backing or anything like that, so it's just all Taff Simmons putting into Taff Simmons. So, but I'm blessed. I have a great job, and I'm blessed. So we'll get done with it, and then we'll present it to the people. That's where the rubber meets the road. If it's received well.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually was just talking to Billy Mata about the cost of recording, and we were talking about how a lot of people these days that aren't in the industry don't really realize that they're always asking, why don't you have an album? Where's your album? I want your album, and they just don't realize how costly it is these days.
Right. Yeah, it's expensive.
It's very expensive. And you have a lot of songs, so you've spent a lot of money because you have a lot of really good songs.
I've spent a lot of money, and I want to spend a lot more. There's not a time. There's no time that goes by where I'm not working. I've got 5 or 6 songs that I'm working on right now, and some new projects for some other people. That I've just recently began to take that on to write for a couple of other artists. I'm really blessed. God's good.
Yes, I agree with you there. Let's talk about some of your songs, because there are some that are just I really want people to listen to. Mercy is one of those songs that is just incredible. What's the story behind that one?
I'll tell you, there's a few of my songs that have a really special meaning for me. I'm woven through all of my music. There's a certain aspect of my life and everything that I write, even though it might not just be blatantly out there on the record, But Mercy. I struggled a long time with methamphetamine, IV drug user for many, many years, and alcoholism. Praise God, I'm clean today. I haven't taken a drug in 8 years. Not a pill, not a joint, nothing. But Mercy is a tale of one of those battles that I tried to fight and ultimately lost. As the song continues, and it's pretty easy to pick that out, But yeah, it's I've allowed it to rob me of a lot of things, and that was just another one of those robberies that I laid down for.
Yeah, it's a good song. You can tell there's a lot of emotion in that song. It's deep and raw, and it's just so good. And my favorite song, of course, you know which one that is. Almost Me Again. That one is incredible, and
well. I appreciate that. anybody who's ever, suffered any kind of loss and yet, found the will or, to get up and move on, no matter what it was. It doesn't have to be the exact story that's laid out in that song, but any kind of loss is a loss, and and it impacts people in different ways. But to try to move on from something like that and believe that you can, it kind of sums up what that song is about for people in general. Of course, for me, there's a lot of underlying meaning for it, but I sure appreciate you digging it.
Yeah, I know that there is, and that's a story I'd love to share with our listeners too. I know that you suffered the loss of your brother.
Yeah, my brother was, one of my really just one of my best friends in the world, and there was a song that I wrote called Face Down, and I had wrote Face Down dealing with some of my own suicide attempts, real attempts, and failures of that too, and for a guy to fail even at that in the frame of mind that I was in when I attempted those things, and then it failed, you wake up and it's like, wow, not even this, huh? But my brother.
I don't know why we're laughing, but
I'm just blessed to be able to have little moments like that where I can, right, and the day before I was due to go in the studio to cut Face Down, my brother killed himself the night before, and of course, so everything stopped, and I reworked it a little bit, and was finally able to go in the studio and get through it. But it was just a incredibly tough time in mine and my family's life, for my brother to have made that decision. It was rough. It's still rough, but God allows us to live alongside those things. I'm blessed again.
Yeah, and I know that's the guitar that you have, the one that he gave you.
Yes, yes.
Cool. I think that's really cool. And you actually were able to kind of pull it together and record that song pretty quick after that happened, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to. Of course, like I said, you never get over it. But I did want to record the song while I was still hurt.
Right.
And it just deals. I don't believe that this is the final stop. There's a life after this. My brother loved the Lord. The Lord knew who my brother was because, and who's to say what happens on the other side? But it does deal with redemption and what it may appear to be like once we're able to see past this veil that surrounds us. There's an unseen world, and I believe that there's angels fighting for me and dark ones fighting against me and my brother all at the same time.
I'm with you. I know that 100%. I just do, and so I'm with you there. And you have a lot of faith in your songs. That you have several songs. In fact, most of your songs have some kind of mention of faith in them. We're gonna play so many of them. Old Georgia Clay. Now that's a good one. I'm looking at the songs here, and I'm pretty familiar with almost all of them actually. But Old Georgia Clay is one I know that made quite an impact when it came out.
Old Georgia Clay is if I have a song that sums me up, Taff Simmons up more than any of the other songs, Old Georgia Clay would be my autobiography of my songs, so to speak. It deals with me directly. It deals with all the jail time. It deals with the drugs. It deals with there's just so much questions that a person may have for themselves, and I did with me. But Old Georgia Clay really was a powerful song for me to be able. I'm blessed to have written it, and of course I probably like so many artists, the one I happened to be working on at the time is my favorite, and so it was sure my favorite one that I'd done when I was writing it, and for some time after I'd cut it.
When did you cut that one?
Let's see, it's been I don't believe it's been 2 years, but I believe it's some point last year. I believe I cut that, Old Georgia Clay.
Okay. Yeah, that's a real good one. I want to make sure and play that one for the listeners, and Mercy and Almost Me Again and Face Down and Badlands. That's one that
You know what?
love.
I would love to be able to, and I was talking with somebody on an interview here not too long ago, Tim Kelly, I think, and we started talking about Badlands. They play that song quite a bit, and I would like to be able to say that there's some real cool story behind that, but for the most part, I just fell in love with the name of it, and I wrote that song around the name, Badlands. I thought it was tough, you know.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
so that's
It's
actually
a tough sounding song. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was a blast to cut.
Let's see. We need to let the listeners know too where they can find your music. You're all over Facebook. You've got your page on Facebook. Do you have a professional page there on Facebook?
I do not, you know, and I'm all thumbs when it comes to that end of what this business is. I'm constantly looking for somebody, the cheapest way out that can help me to gain more exposure, you know, digitally. My friend who was handling me and taking care of a lot of that stuff, she'd lost her daughter and her granddaughter, Cat Williams. She'd lost them in a car accident, and she just lost it. And she'll pop in every now and then, you know, and when things are well. And then it seems like she drifts off. So everybody out there listening, you can lift her up in prayer. She sure needs it. And so since then, I've just been kind of floating around out here by myself and doing what it is that I know how to do, which is write and cut the music. And you know, but as far as being able to apply that to any other platforms, you know, well, I'm sitting here talking to you, Amber. So you know, there's some things I'm doing right. You know. So I've got some people out there.
You're on the right track.
Yeah, but as far as somebody with a personal connection like Kat was, I haven't found anybody that I really connected with like we did. And bless her heart, she's just going through some things, and she needs to be allowed the time to go through those things.
Yeah, that's rough stuff right there for sure. So, but you know, you can write your music right now, and it all happens in God's timing anyway.
Yep.
I've learned
Amen.
not to even plan things anymore too much. A little bit, but not too much, because half the time it's not what my plans at all.
Yeah, that's right. I've learned it.
It's so true. It's so true. But if people they can buy your music, correct?
You know, I had some that was out there on some digital downstreams. Let's see, Pandora plays some of my music, iTunes, Google Play, those kind of things like that. There were some out there. I haven't loaded any new music out there in quite a while because you know, I just have trouble navigating all of that. I guess I'm bright. I can learn how to do it. But I'm always focused on just what's in front of me at the time,
Right.
and so I haven't sat down to really try to figure it out. That was a plea
Right.
for help to all of your listeners out there. If anybody wants to bail in, help old Simmons out, get some. You get hold of me on Facebook. We'll work it out.
There you go. There you go. You never know. You might find somebody. But they can at least go and listen. And I know you've got some on YouTube I've seen.
Yes.
So, and if your Facebook page is public, they can go there and see
They sure can.
just about all of your songs. So, so that'll be good. And then after this interview's aired, it'll be posted on Amber Sea. That's SEAY on that professional page, so you can go back and listen to it, and we'll post some music and pictures, and
I'll be excited to go listen to it myself.
Yeah, me too. Let's see how we sound.
Now, I'm not trying to flip things around, but things are going well for you too, are they not? You're doing some interviews, and you're getting your music out there, and people are starting to pay attention. And you know, this isn't an easy club to join. You know, somebody posted a meme on Facebook a while ago that I read that said, "Should every artist does every artist deserve a chance? Well, you get a chance when you take the chance, you know. But these are some tall woods to walk through, and participation trophies aren't handed out. There's a whole lot better talent out there that has never been heard than there is that has been heard. I believe that. But you've got to take the chance, and you've got to be able to not have thin skin, and that's why there's so many genres of music out there, because there's what might be for one person, it might not be for the next, and so you just chip away at it and hope it's well received, and a little bit of luck and a little bit of blessings, and you know, some magic things can happen. I'm pleased and blessed with the way my music has been received, and the attention that I've got through my songs, and I just continue to be blessed.
Yeah, I feel you there, and thanks for the mention, because I do too. I just feel so blessed. It's just almost like taking on a life of its own, and it's amazing how it's, you know, it's just amazing. It's almost, it makes you speechless almost. But I'll definitely keep trying to make pretty music for everybody, and I hope you do too, because you are just amazing, and I can't wait for the listeners that don't know you to get to know you, because you rock. Taff Simmons rocks. That's just how it is.
Thank you for that. You know, so many times, and it's like that for everybody. You know, there's musicians out there, artists that I idolize too, but you peel all that stuff away, and they're just people. You know, they have a story. They've had some setbacks. They've had some heartbreaks. They've all these things. They've had doors slammed on them. You know, and they're just people, and they drink their coffee like I do and like you do, and you know, so many of the listeners out there, and you know, and they cry and they're happy, and it's just you know, we're just living this life. I don't make donuts, but if that's what I wanted to do, I would pursue it, you know, and so I just happen to have been given a different talent, and so that's what I pour myself into.
Yeah, I understand that. I sure do, and you know, it is hard, because when you're in music like that, people don't tend to understand that you are just a regular human being with regular feelings. And usually, I know a lot of artists that I've talked to personally, that I know personally, it almost seems like they're artists because they have been through a lot of pain and a lot of difficult times, and it just does something to a person, and make music, and you kind of can forget all about it while you're making that music.
Yeah, so, you know, you mentioned that Almost Me Again. So I'm really, really, really proud of the way Almost Me Again turned out. But you know, when somebody flips on the radio, or they hear that song and it moves them, you know, there's a person or people on the other side of that were moved to the point to lay it out there in front of everybody, you know. So it's not all glitz and glory. There's real life behind my music and so many of these other artists that are out there. That's
right. And Almost Me Again, I know you know this, but for the listeners, the first few times, sometimes I won't listen to it anymore, because it always makes me cry. It brings tears to my eyes. It moves me that much. I connect with so many of your songs.
Thank you for that.
You're just really a talented artist, and I really wish you the best. And
thank you. Ditto.
I hope that you can find the funds to get all the albums you want out there, because I know the feeling of that too.
Yeah, I'm working all the time for that. You know,
you're working right now, actually, aren't you?
I'm working right now. You bet I am. Yeah, I'm down here on the Gulf Coast, Padre Island. That's where you're at. Corpus Christi area, Rockport. I've been coming back down here, back and forth from Missouri, where I live now. I'm a Texan. I'm from San Antonio, but I've been coming down here and working this hurricane damage, and it's good money, and so it allows me to pay my bills and also jump in and out of the studio, you know, when I have time between work. And you know, I've got, you know, and I just feel compelled to tell the listeners and to tell you, we spoke a little bit earlier about my addiction, the life that I went through in and out of jail, I mean, all the heartache and headache that I went through with my addictions. And now here I am doing this music thing, and how cool is that? But I got to tell you, Amber, that's not the cool part. The cool part is today I have a relationship that makes sense. I have a relationship with my sisters. I have a relationship with my kids. I have, healthy relationships, all because, that I've made the decision to take those life-defeating components of my life and put them somewhere else, But the music is just it's just a cool byproduct of that decision. The really cool stuff is that I've been able to rebuild some bridges with my family and some friends. That's what matters. That's the big stuff.
Absolutely, I agree. It really is, and it's almost like you said, talking about suicide. Just when you feel like life is over for you, music comes along, and suddenly it's like, wow. I didn't expect this. This is a whole new life for me.
Yeah.
And so I know you had to kind of experience that too, going through what you did.
Yeah, and I would encourage anybody out there who's that if it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you want to paint flowers on rocks. Whatever your thing is, do it. Do that. Pour yourself into it. Be the best at it as you can be, and but don't let it slip you by. Life goes by real fast, and I'm trying to play catch up. I really didn't enter my own life until I was about 40 years old, because of my addictions, because of bad decisions and relationships and things that kept me covered up. And so at about 40, I made a decision that I can't go on. I can't continue the way that things were going, and I began to do some changes. And change takes time. Sometimes some of it's fast, but the long term, it takes time. There's changes every day.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And a friend of mine, Chris Gantry, it reminds me of a saying that actually someone else said, that I can't remember his name, but Chris Gantry is always repeating it. And he repeats it in one of his songs. I can't think of the name of the song at the moment, but I'll think of it in a minute. But it says, if you don't follow your dreams, you're damned in this life and damned in the next. Yep. And that was something that I've always remembered. When I first heard that on his song, and then I've seen him post it from time to time, and I'll share it, it just kind of kept me going. I was at a moment where I just wanted to stop, and, if I forget it, it's just too much work. People don't understand how much work music really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And you really have to believe in yourself and love what you're doing to keep going with it.
You do. You really do. So, but that's true, for, like you said, for everything. If you don't follow your dreams.
Now, when people go over to my Facebook page, and that's Taff, Taff Simmons, not Taft. A lot of people get that. They don't hear me say that F. But Taff, Taff. But when they go over on my page and they scroll through, most people miss it. I've only had a couple of people comment on it, but right there, when you start scrolling through, you'll see a little thing that says, "There's nothing more expensive than regret."
Yeah, I've seen that one myself.
Yeah,
that's a good one too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, well, hopefully we've inspired a few people, because that's what life's all about, because life is so short. so short. Well, Taff, we sure have enjoyed having you on the show, and we're going to play a lot of your music, and we're going to put up pictures of you on our Ears Radio chat room page. There will be a live chat going on, and it'll be a lot of fun, and I'll sure let you know when it's going to air, and I'll let the listeners know when it's going to air. I'll put some promos out, and
I just want to tell you, I've had a blast talking with you in this capacity, and I want each and every single itty-bitty one of the listeners that are out there that have taken the time to listen in and get to know a little bit of me behind my music, and takes the time to listen to my music and leaves a little comment, things like that. You know, man, y'all are great. I appreciate you, and you what you do for. And what you do for us artists, Amber, and being an artist yourself, you know how important it is that we get all the exposure that we can. You know.
Yeah.
I sure appreciate you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, they
please
sure
look him up, because you're gonna fall in love. You really are. His music is that good. So like Taff said, the listeners just please, every single fan counts, and it means so much.
Yep.
And we see you guys. We see who looks us up. You know, we're able to. So
early on, I tried to, and I still read everything, and I at least like to give it a thumbs up or something like that. But I used to try to take the time to comment back. You know, but it does not mean I read everything, and I might be in the middle of passing a semi and shouldn't be on my phone anyway, and I might not get back to it, but it doesn't mean that I didn't see it. I see it all, you know, and I appreciate every bit of it.
Yeah, it is very appreciated. So I want to get you out there to each and every person that we can, because if just get them to click that button, like I said, they're gonna fall in love, because the music is just so good, so real, and so emotional. I mean, there's definitely a song for everybody on your list of songs that, you know, could be a definite favorite for a lot of people.
And keep checking back, because more's coming.
All right, cool. Well, you're always welcome back, and when you have a new project come out, let me know, and we'll get you back on here and let the listeners know all about it. And we're just honored to have you, and we wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for sitting in with me.
All right, Taff. Well, we will be talking to you soon then.
God bless.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.